Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 30b, top of the page, with the words Tikuli Alma Karabanan, Tipligi Ale, de Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, V'hacha be'akoshe agada, Leria kamifligi, Marsavar, Makshinan, Haggadah, Leria, Umarsavar lo, Makshinan. And everyone, both the first Tana and Rabbi Natan, holds, in accordance with the opinion of the rabbis who disagree with Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, and derive from this verse that it is necessary that the witnesses see the incident together, meaning they were both present and observed the incident at the same time. And here, with regard to whether or not the witnesses must testify in court together, they disagree with regard to whether or not the statement of the witnesses, meaning their testimony in court, is compared to their observation of the incident. One sage, the first Tana, holds that we compare their statement to their observation. Therefore, just as they see the incident together, so too they must testify in court. And one sage, Rabbi Natan, holds that we do not compare their statement to their observation. Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim, Havamish Dekid Ale, Rabbi Yossi Rabbi Chanina Lemis Kameh, Lemis Mecheh, Beloka Bistaya Milse, Yom Achad, Haviyasiv Kameh Rabbi Yochanan. The Gemara relates that Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim was striving to ordain Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, and was not successful in his attempts. One day, Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim was sitting before Rabbi Yochanan, among Rabbi Yochanan's other students. Amar lahu mi ika diyada halacha Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, Ola. Amar le Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim, Dain yada. Amar le lema ezo. Amar le lis meche mar bereshe samche. Rabbi Yochanan said to his students, "Is there anyone who knows whether the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha or not?" Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim said to him, "This one, Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, knows." Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "If so, let him say." Rabbi Shimon ben Eliakim said to him, "Let the master ordain him first, since we are all in need of his wisdom. He is fit for ordination." Rabbi Yochanan ordained Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina. Amar le beni emor li ketzat shemata. Amar le kach shemati. Shemo de Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha le Rabbi Natan. Rabbi Yochanan said to him, "My son, tell me what you heard." Rabbi Yossi, son of Rabbi Chanina, said to him, "This is what I heard, that Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha concedes to the opinion of Rabbi Natan that it is unnecessary for the witnesses to testify together." Amar lezeh hutzrachdi hashte uma'ikar ri'iyah bahade hadadi Amar Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha lo ba'inan hagada riboye. Rabbi Yochanan was disappointed and said, "For this I needed to ordain him." Now, with regard to the main element of testimony, meaning observing the incident, Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha says we do not need both witnesses to see it together. With regard to their statement in court, is it necessary to explicate that there is no requirement that they testify together? Amar le hoyil ve'alita lo tered. Amar Zera shma mina gava rabba kevan de'ismich istemich. Although the statement of Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Chanina, was unnecessary, Rabbi Yochanan said to him, since you ascended, meaning you were ordained, you will not descend, even though it was an error. Rabbi Zera said, conclude from it that with regard to a great man, once he is ordained, even if it was due to mistaken judgment, he is ordained. The ordination is not cancelled. Amar Rabbi Chia bar Avin, Amar Rav halacha Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, bein b'karakaos, bein b'metaltalim. As for the halacha in this manner, Rabbi Chia bar Avin says, that Rav says, the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, that is, it is unnecessary for the two witnesses to observe the incident together, both with regard to cases of land and with regard to cases of movable property. Ula Amar halacha k'Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha b'karkaos avolo b'metaltalim. Ula says the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha with regard to land, which is unmovable, and therefore testimonies certainly are about the same piece of land, but not with regard to movable property, as there is a concern that they are not testifying about the same item. Amar le'abaya halacha miklal tipligi. Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Rabbi Huna, Amar Rav modim chachamim, Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha be'edus karka. Abaya said to Ula, if you say that the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha with regard to land, by inference you hold they disagree with regard to this matter. But doesn't Rabbi Abba say that Rav Huna says that Rav says that the rabbis concede to the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha with regard to testimony concerning land? Vitani Rav Idi bar Avin v'Ezekin debei karna modim chachamim Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha be'edus bechor ve'edus karka uve'edus chazaka v'chein sheba bein v'sheba bat. And Rav Idi bar Avin teaches in the halacha of damages that were taught at the school of the sage of Karna. The rabbis concede to the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha that the witnesses do not need to see the incident together with regard to testimony concerning a blemish in a male firstborn kosher animal, which renders it permitted to derive benefit from it, and with regard to testimony concerning ownership of land, and with regard to testimony concerning presumptive ownership of land, since it is clear that they are testifying about the same land, it is unnecessary for them to see it together, and so they concede with regard to testimony over the two pubic hairs of a boy or a girl, which are a sign of adulthood. Gavra karamis mar savar pligi, mar savar lo pligi. The Gemara rejects Abaya's question. Are you setting the statement of one man against the statement of another man? One sage, Ula, holds that the rabbis disagree with Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha even with regard to land, and one sage, meaning Rav and Rav Idi, holds that they do not disagree. Ma shekain bebein sheba bas ilem echad omer achad begaba achad achas b'kreisa achasi davar v'chasi edesu. The Gemara asked tangentially about the statement, and so they conceded the guard testimony over two pubic hairs of a boy or a girl. What is that referring to? If we say it's referring to testimony that a girl has reached majority, in which one witness says that he saw one hair on her lower back, and one witness says that he saw one hair on her lower abdomen, that is difficult. A girl is considered to have reached maturity when she has two pubic hairs. In this case, two witnesses separately testify that they have seen each one hair. In this case, the testimony is obviously invalid, as it is half a matter and is also half a testimony. Not only does each testimony refer to one hair, which is half a matter, it is submitted by one witness, which is half a testimony. Consequently, it is obvious that the girl is not considered to have reached majority in this case. Ela echad omer shtayim megaba ve'echad omer shtayim mekreso. Rather, must be referring to a case where one says that he saw 2 hairs on her lower back, and the one says he saw 2 hairs on her lower abdomen. Since they each testify that she has reached adulthood, it is unnecessary for them to see the same hairs. Amar Rav Yosef, Ana Amina Mishma Deula, Halacha Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, Ben Mikar Koas Ben Metaltlin, Rabbanan Dasun Mechoza, Amri Amar Rabbi Zera Mishme Dera Bekar Kois in Avalobi Metaltlin. Rav Yosef said, I say in the name of Ula, the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, both with regard to land and with regard to movable property. But the sages who came from Mehoza say that Rabbi Zera says in the name of Rav, with regard to land, the halacha is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, but not with regard to movable property. Rav litameh, T'amar Rav, Hoda'a achar hoda'a, Hoda'a achar halva'a, mitztorfe. The Gemara comments, Rav conforms to his standard line of reasoning. As Rav says, testimonies of an admission following an admission are combined into one. If one witness testifies that the respondent admitted in his presence that he owes the claimant, and the other witness testifies that the respondent admitted in his presence that he owes the claimant in a separate incident, their testimonies are combined. Likewise, testimonies of an admission following a loan are combined into one, where one witness testifies that the respondent admitted in his presence that he owes the claimant, and the other one testifies that on a previous date the respondent borrowed money from the claimant in his presence. Their testimonies are combined. Halva ech achar halva achar hoda lo mitztarfi. Rav continues, but testimonies of a loan following a loan are not combined. If one testifies that the claimant lent the respondent 100 dinars in his presence, and the other testifies that he lent him 100 dinars in a separate incident in his presence, their testimonies are not combined, as they are clearly testifying about 2 separate loans. Similarly, testimonies of a loan following an admission are not combined. If one testifies that the claimant lent money to the respondent, and the other one testifies that on the earlier date the respondent admitted to owing the claimant, their testimonies are not combined. Ashkecher Nachman Bar Yitzchak Ravuna Bereiz Rav Yehoshua Amar Le Ma'ishna halva achar halva de la demana de ka chazehai la ka chazehai hoda'a achar hoda nami amana de ka mode kama hai lo mode kame hai. Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak encounter of Huna, son of Yehoshua, he said to him, what is different about a loan, following a loan, in which case the testimonies are not combined, as the 100 dinars that this witness saw, that witness did not see. In the case of an admission following an admission as well, perhaps the 100 dinars about which the respondent admitted in the presence of this witness, he did not admit in the presence of that witness. Perhaps his admissions were in reference to 2 separate loans, and therefore the testimonies should not be combined. De Omar le lahai basra, bahai mana de odie le, kamach, odie le, name, kame ploni. Rav Huna, son of Rabbi Yehoshua, answered him. The reference is to a case where the respondent said to this last witness, with regard to 100 dinars I admitted to owing in your presence. I admitted to owing them in presence of so-and-so, the first witness as well. Akati basra yada kama lo yada. Reb Nachman bar Yitzchak asked, still, the last witness knows that he is testifying about the same loan as the first witness, but the first witness does not know this. Since only one witness testifies, that is the same loan, the testimonies still cannot be combined. The Hadar Azil, Amr Le Lakama, Haimana, the Odie Le Kamach, Odie Le Nami Kame Ploni, Amar Le Tanuch Datach, Shehinachta et Dati. Rav Huna, son of Rabbi Yehoshua, answered, it is a case where, after his admission to the second witness, the respondent went back and said to the first witness, with regard to whose 100 dinars that I admitted to owing in your presence, I admitted owing them in the presence of so-and-so as well. Therefore, both witnesses know that they are testifying about the same loan. Nachman bar Yitzchak said to him, may your mind be settled, as you have settled my mind and put it at ease by answering this question that was troubling me. Amar le, my nichusa, the Ravad itim Rav Sheshes sheda ba narga lav hainu huda achar halva'a. Rav Huna, son of Yehoshua, said to him, what is settling about this explanation, as Rava, and some say Rav Sheshet, threw an axe at my answer, meaning that he rejected my explanation as follows. According to his interpretation of the case of admission following isn't this the same as an admission following a loan? The case of admission following an admission is now rendered superfluous as it adds no new insight on the matter. Amar le hainu dishmiya li alaychu deramesu dikle zakfitu lahu. Rabbi Nachman bar Yitzchak said to him, this is what I heard about you, sages of Mahoza. You knock down palm trees and erect them. Meaning you build and then destroy what you build. After you came up with such an excellent explanation, you ruin it yourselves. Nardai Amri, Bein Hoda Achar Hoda, Bein Hoda Achar Halva, Bein Halva Achar Halva, Bein Halva Achar Hoda, Mitztarfot. Come on. Karishu ben Korcha. The sages of Narda say, whether this is a case of admission following an admission, or admission following a loan, or a loan following a loan, or a loan following an admission, in all these cases, the testimonies are combined. In accordance with whose opinion is this? It is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehoshua ben Korcha, who teaches that since both witnesses testify about a debt, 100 dinars, it is considered like one testimony. Amar Rav Yehuda, Eidut amachesh etzu bebedikot keshera bedini mamanos. Rav Yehuda says testimony of two witnesses who contradict the testimony of each other in response to the judge's examination of the details of the story is valid in cases of monetary law, although a contradiction of this type disqualifies testimony in cases of capital law. Amarove, B'Stavra Mil says that Rav Yehuda be'echad oimer be'ar negish choiro be'echad oimer be'ar nekilvona aval echad oimer mana shechol Yachadoim man alavan, aim at starfin. Rava says the statement of Yehuda is reasonable in the case. But one witness says that the money was in a black purse, and the other one says it was in a white purse. Since it is a secondary detail, they may not remember it accurately. But if one says he lent him a black coin, and the coin was dark, and the other one says he lent him a white coin, testimonies are not combined, since they contradict each other. With regard to a characteristic of the money itself, one is probably lying. אין זה נכון. אחד אומר כלב שחורים, ואליו אומר כלב לבנים. הרי זה נכון. More challenge of Yehuda's ruling. And if witnesses contradict each other with regard to secondary details, such as a black purse in cases of capital law, or in the case about their testimony, is it the case that their testimony is not accepted? Doesn't Rav Chisda say in a case where one of the witnesses says the murderer killed the victim with a sword, and one of the witnesses say the murderer killed the victim with an ariran, another type of weapon? This is not congruent testimony, as this is a clear contradiction. But if one of the witnesses says the murderer's garments are black, and one of the witnesses says the murderer's garments were white, this is congruent testimony, as this is not a meaningful discrepancy. Not sure why, but anyway.